Hey, hey, hey! It's time for another fitness Q&A. The first question comes from Lupita. She asks, how do you break out of a fitness rut? Well, there are so many different ways to break out of a rut. Some of my favorites are to change up your workout splits. Say you have one muscle group that you work out per day, change it to 2 muscle groups, or do a push-pull or total body workout. That's first and foremost my favorite way. Change up your reps and your sets. So if you're used to doing, say, 3 sets of 8 or 3 sets of 10, maybe do 4 sets of 8 or 5 sets of 8. Or combine exercises. If you're doing straight sets, switch it to supersets. Maybe you're going to do circuits. Maybe you want to throw in some jump rope. So, just mix it up. Mix up your tempo. So if you're training slowly, start to train a little bit quicker. The time under tension for building muscle is great, but I find that the body gets used to pretty much everything over time. So when you're in a rut, it's important to just change things. Change the order of your exercises. Say you start with compound movements and you go to isolation exercises towards the end. Do some pre-exhaustion work. So do your isolation exercises first, like leg curl, leg extension, and then move to squats. Take a class, go outside, work out with a friend, change up your music. There's so many different ways to break out of a rut, but I think it's important to maybe reestablish your goals and kind of go from there. So I hope all those things help, or one of those things helps. The next question comes from Cherie. She asks, how do you gain muscle without bulking? Well, Cherie, I think that's a question that a lot of us have had. And I found some of the best ways to gain muscle without bulking or getting really fluffy is to really pay attention to your pre-workout nutrition, your post-workout nutrition. And for me, for fuel, I like carbs, and of course I love protein. It's the building block of muscle. So you want to make sure, for me at about 140 pounds and 5'8", I'll go for 30 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs about an hour and a half before I work out, and then about the same 30 grams of protein, 30 grams of carbs post-workout. So you want to make sure also that you're getting enough protein per pound of body weight, and I try to shoot for about 1.5 grams per pound per day. So it's quite a bit of protein, but if you're trying to build muscle, you're going to need that. And get the protein from good, high quality protein sources. It's very, very hard, I feel, if you're a vegetarian, to get the type of protein that your body can synthesize easily to build muscle. And that's your lean meats, your whey protein, egg protein, whole foods, that kind of thing. So, and I know there are studies too about it not mattering how many meals per day you get, whether it's 1, 3, or 6, or whatever it might be, as long as your caloric intake remains pretty much good for your height, weight, and activity level. But I found just personally that 5 or 6 smaller meals spaced out throughout the day has helped me gain and maintain lean muscle mass. The next question comes from Beth. She has clients who want results but aren't consistent. How do you get them to stay on track? Well, I think first and foremost, Beth, it's important for anybody who's training to have patience, to know that changes are made over time. And also, we see ourselves in the mirror every single day. So it's really important to keep progress pictures, take measurements, do calipers, whatever your method might be, but have something in place where you're able to track your progress so that you don't get easily discouraged. And I think accountability is really important too. Whether it's daily or weekly check-ins, or having a buddy that is also going for a similar goal, someone to keep you kind of on track if you need that. So those are the 3 things that I would definitely recommend, but hard work and patience are at the top of the list. The last question comes from Shannon. She asks, how many days per week should I do cardio and for how long? Well, that's a tough one. I think for overall health, it's important to do cardio 2 to 3 times a week, and that might be 1 or 2 high intensity interval training sessions, and it might be 1 to 2 lower intensity, long duration cardio, and that might be a walk outside or a bike ride, something like that. And that's just for general physical fitness, and then also for your mind. It's kind of nice to go for a nice long walk outside if it's not snowing. But if your goal is to run a 5K or to do a race, that's something completely different. And I think it does go back to what your goals are. So if your goal is to just stay healthy and stay fit, do 1 to 2 days of high intensity interval training, and that's 15 to 20 minutes for the session. So it can't be any longer than that, otherwise I feel like you start to burn out. And same thing with the longer duration low intensity cardio, maybe 45 minutes total, and you want to try to keep your workouts to under an hour, and again, that's to keep your cortisol levels down. So that's it for questions for this time. Thank you. Train hard, y'all.